everyone, welcome to Caroline's Craftery. Now you're probably looking at this wondering, what the heck is she doing now? Well, this is for the 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025. Now, one of my goals in 2025 is to use up stuff I have. And that includes stuff that I've made that's ready to go into journals. These are the people that are taking part in this challenge, but you can take part too if you want, just by using the hashtag 12 by 12 Junk Journal Challenge 2025. And this is hosted by Scrapbook Sage. But like I say, part of it is knowing what you have and using what you have. Now all of this that you see and beyond, because my whole table is just covered. First off, I am not responsible for any avalanches that happen during this video. But I want to sort all of my ephemera that is made already, that's basically ready to just pop into a journal. It's been getting out of hand, and I have a lot of it. A lot of it. And I need to get making some journals, or I'm thinking maybe making some ephemera kits and just putting 10 or 12 items, taking a picture and posting it. I don't know yet, but this is my sorting. I need to sort. So I thought while I'm sorting, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've made. Now, a lot of this I might have done a tutorial on, or I might have posted it in a WhatsApp video, something like that. I don't know. I don't honestly remember a lot of what we did, but I know a lot of it I did do videos on. So let's start down in the front. I made some dragonfly kit type things. Now, most of these had two pieces to them that kind of went together. These, I'm quite positive I did a video on how I made these. But there's lots of different sets. They all kind of had a card and a tag. But these could also be used as a pocket as well. Love how these turned out. They turned out fantastic. Love them. And I love dragonflies. So, but they, as I say, they each kind of got a set. Like this one's using the same material. This material I actually got from the lines. It was part of a quilt. So I've got a big stack of these. I don't know how I'm going to store all these yet. I have these type of containers, which some fit in there, some are too big. And then I have some like this, they're stamping up stamp boxes. So I've been using some of these, and I might continue to use them. Some of them were actually fairly organized, others weren't. So for now, I'm just going to put these into a big bin that is beside me. Now these are all bookmark type things. All tall, skinny bookmarks. Now I made a whole bunch of these at a retreat. One of the retreats I was at. So I did a bunch of those. I did some mixed media type things, which I also did at one of the retreats that I was on. What else do we got? Oh, we got more of those. I did a bunch of these, which I love. I did the pin stitching in the circles, and then I just put a flower, a digital flower in there. Quite sure I did a tutorial on those. Love how those turned out. I did a tutorial on these, a little mass make, and these were using some pages that I found while I was cleaning up one day. More of the mixed media type ones. And yeah, so they, as I say, these are all like bookmark style tags. You could even glue them on the side of a page and use them as like a pocket. So there's a whole bunch of those. And I'll sort these so that all the likes are together. But for now, they're kind of going in what they are, kind of, whether they're tags or pockets or whatever. I remember doing the tutorial on these too. This is a very old flower book. I used like a stamp and just some odds and ends of lace and decorated them up. So those are pretty much all the same, just different flowers from out of that book. Still got a bunch of the book was just full. It was probably, I'm gonna guess it was probably like 1.5 inches thick, and every page had 4 flowers on it. And then the back side had, I think what they were about, can't remember, but each page had 4 flowers on it anyways. And yeah, love the pictures. The book was from, I want to say it was from the 20s, maybe the 30s, but they turned out really good. Go back there. Let's do this little pile of, now I did these, I mass made these, and I believe I did a tutorial on these. And I did a lot of these. I did like 40 something. And just a little folded paper ribbon with something on the top of it. I had gotten a whole bunch of these from the thrift store, the Lions. So I used all the flowers. I had the little lace things already made. That's what I'd love to do with my little pieces of lace, is just staple them together and make a little collage out of them. So there's lots of these, lots and lots of these. Let's throw them into my basket that's over here. And off of camera, I will get them into containers and do all that stuff. Let's do these, I guess. Oh, let's do these. I did these in a mass make. And this idea I got from Kim Newberg. And she did like bingo cards. I didn't have bingo cards, but I had this big graph type paper. So I did those. Love, like this one here with the bingo line kind of with buttons. This one I did with all buttons. But those turned out really cute too. Okay, let's do these. Now I went to town making these. I did them in 3 sizes. Now these I made because I was trying to use up some paper pads. And I do like how they turned out. So actually there's 4 sizes. And they're all basically the same, except I use different size paper pads. From, I guess, 8 by 8 down to 6 by 6 or something. But they all have a pull-out tab. They all have one of these little cutout tags. Now I just cut 2 oval circles or whatever, like there's tag shapes and whatnot, but 2 shapes. I cut a die cut out of the center, birds, dragonflies, butterflies, etc. And then I just glued 2 together, so then that way you get the see-through there. I like this one here. It's really nice. So there's a tag in the top. Now these you could slide into a pocket, or you could use them, glue them down to a page, although you'd miss the back. But and then each one has a tag. The tag size is according to the size of the pocket itself. But they're all the same idea. Different colors. As I said, I just was trying to use up some of the paper pads that I had. This one here is the opposite, where I just used 1 die cut, and then I put the die cut that I cut out of a shape on the top of it. So I got lots of these, and as I say, whether I use them as a pocket or to slip into a other pocket, not really sure, but there's lots of those. I'm not going to run out of those anytime soon. But I did use up a fair number of pockets with those, or paper pads. Now these are button cards, and the digital, I think some of them, like this one here was one of Kim Newberg's digital, some were mine, but I just did these button cards. And again, I love how they turned out. I love the little bit of lace I put behind, and then I put some kind of bow or a topper on them. I think these turned out just perfect. Love them. And some I didn't really put nothing on, but yes, love, love, love how those turned out. I was trying to organize them in the tub so then when I go to pull them out. Let's do this here. Now this was something else that I seen the idea, and I was using up 6x6 paper pads. Now it's an envelope, but there's also a pocket on this side. So these would be great to tuck in a pocket. Different colors, kind of papers that accent each other, etc. So really it's a envelope with a pocket. And I want to say I got this idea from Brenda, from, well, she goes, Brenda Clark is her YouTube, Simple Crafter or something like that. But I'll leave links to people that I know I got the ideas from, but don't have a lot of those. But I did manage to use up another paper pad doing that. I made all these bags out of gift wrap. One day I was going through my gift wrap and I'm like, I need to use up all the bits and pieces. So that's what I did. So some of the bags are really just a tube, really. And that way you can put them on, sew them into your signature. And others are actual little bags. I did quite a few of them. Great way to use up that gift wrap. Okay, more stuff. Let's see about this pile. Okay, this was kind of some odds and ends. Now I made these long time ago, long time ago. And I didn't even actually know I had. This was kind of, I did this for a challenge or something, I think. But I just cross-stitched the word and used a couple brads, backed it with an extra Rolodex card. These Rolodex, I actually have a die cut that cuts these out. But then I put, these are real pressed flowers in there. And with some acetate on there. These, I do love how these turned out. Now, let's see. Let's see if I can. Now, when they're against something, you can see them a lot better. But I love, love how these turned out. And I made a digital kit. It's actually a freebie. I believe it's on the coffee shop. But I printed mine on acetate. Now, some acetate you can print on, and other stuff you can't. But this stuff I did, and I loved how these turned out. And I thought I had used them all, but I found a few in a container. Hence why I'm organizing and cleaning. So there is those. Now all of these things, let's just set those, actually let's set them off to the side. These I used the coin holders for. And I backed the coin holders just with a light cardstock because I didn't want them to get too thick. But I just took a bunch of flower digitals and I just really put them inside. Some aren't decorated yet. Some are. Little bees and a flower. But some I just left because I might not want them all decorated. Or maybe I might want to add something that blends in with a journal. But then I also did 2s. So really I just opened the coin folder right up and backed it again with a little bit of cardstock. But love how these turned out. And I found a whole bunch of coin things at the Lions one time. And then a whole bunch that aren't decorated, but ready to use. Now I could just slip this in a pocket. I could just put a little tassel on the top, add a little dangly charm, put a hole and put a grommet in there or something. So they're pretty much ready to go. And I consider them a finished item. And I also did some 3s. And I did not decorate any of these because it's going to depend on whether I use them as a tuck spot or a tag. And again, the same thing. I just backed them with some paper. Like that one there I'd probably use, because I used an old piece of paper, probably was a misprint. I will probably use that as a pocket, but you never know. Never know. Let's just set these back up here out of the way. Now that I'm getting a little more room. These I made from old, it was a, what do they call this? A shield that I found at the Lions Club. It was from the 50s, I think. But there was 2 of them. So I made a big, huge tag type thing. And then I cut the second one out, made a pocket with the description of, oh, I guess it's a crest. Oh, 68 or 1868. That was when they made the crest, not when the paper poster type thing was made. But I made all of these with that. So those were kind of fun. They are a bit big, but they would fit in a lot of journals. What else do we got here? Now these are all like stitch tags and cards. Now you've seen my hand stitching, and I've probably shown a lot of these. And yes, it is time consuming, but I love doing it. So all these are stitched tags or cards that I've either stitched all over. These ones aren't stitched on the outside, but these can be used, like these type could be used as a pocket or as a journal card. So there's quite a few of those. I was happy to see that I actually had so many of those. These here are fun. I got some little boxes and I was wondering what to do with them, so I took a couple of them and I made these tags, and I think they turned out pretty good. The cardstock on the back, pretty sure I did a video on these with a book page over top of it, and then somebody sent me these and I thought they looked perfect. I used a little bit of trim or something on the top, but those were really fun. And I love how they turned out. We got some odds and ends here of just things that I found. This is like an envelope. This is like a flip that goes into, like, over a page. And then another envelope. Oh, this is a post-it note. This idea I got from Kim Newberg. So that's kind of fun. And just a few odds and ends that were left in the bottom of a container somewhere. I got a bunch of these. I made these a long time ago, like probably 3 years ago. Edge punch both sides and then just glued a thing of ribbon or some kind of trim down the middle. Great for decorating stuff. let's see, a whole bunch of bows. Now I made all these bows at a retreat out of just scraps from doing other stuff at the retreat, but a whole bunch of bows to use for different things. This was a project for Your Creative Studio, and this was some of the papers that she sent. So I made these pockets, and then I just used a bunch of scraps to kind of decorate them. Okay, we're getting, well, no, we're not getting there. It's going to be a long video, folks. Let's see, what are we going to do? Let's do these ones that have fallen over before they fall over more. These are all little bags. Another project, a mass made. Almost sure I did a video on these, but they're little pockets. So you glue them down, different colors. And this was another way of using up a 6x6 paper pad. Lots of those. Love how these turned out. Okay, keep moving on. This was another thing from Your Creative Studio. They're little postcards. Pretty sure I got those from Your Creative Studio. But this was one of the projects I did, and really they're just little postcards. But you could also use them as a pocket, but you're going to miss out on that. But love how those turned out too. We got, oh, here's some more things that were done with those old flower books. And these are just assorted cards. And that was done, I showed earlier something else that I made. Can't remember what it was. They were some kind of cards, but different, but the same, came from the same book. See what we got here. These I made, you know, those albums that everybody finds, the Victorian albums with the really super thick pages. Well, I did a video on what I was going to do with one of them. And these are the tag journaling cards that I came up with. And these have acetate on them. You've probably seen the shininess. And the pictures were just assorted digital pictures that I had that were already printed out, and I just used them in these. That's the picture. And of course, you know, in the albums, these were all the where you would tuck your own photo, but love how those turned out. And then these I made a number of years ago at a retreat. The window here is a clear MAC tack. But I seen these online one time, and so I did them. And the tags are just from old books, pictures I had from old books. But they turned out good. And it's a real pressed flower with a digital printout of a butterfly. But I think they just turned out really good. I like them. Tuck them in a pocket, or I guess you could almost use it as a card or something too. But there is those. These I did at the same retreat that I did the longer ones at, but these ones I just did short. And I wrapped a piece of string around them to give it a little extra. But lots of those. Trying to stack things up off to the side. And like I say, a lot of these, you've probably seen a video of how I did them. These are index cards, and I just decorated them up. These pages came from a little book that I had. Still got some of that book somewhere, but they're all kind of the same with some butterfly cutouts. These were some digital cards that I had made. I'm not sure if it was a kit for sale or freebies, but I cut them apart. I put down this one here, you might see better. I got this iridescent trim, and then I stitched on top just to kind of hold it down. And then I just put a piece of a digital on the back just to give it, just to decorate the back a little bit and to use up papers. Got those. These I made a number of years ago. And they are just cards, like journal cards. The back is like clear. Stitch around them using some die cuts and some embossed paper on the back. These actually might have been, no, I used scrap paper for the backgrounds, but they turned out good. I like them. Slowly used them up. I probably made 40 of them. Then we just got a big assortment of tags and whatnot. I made these on video just with a lace middle in the tag, which I decorated up. Bunch of those. Again, another one of those mass make things. Using stuff up. I made a few more of those than I thought. And then these here. I did these for Hazel's Masterboard Madness in March, I believe. Which I just made a whole bunch of them. Just by using leftovers. Really, they're just leftovers. Bunch of these from old Reader Digest books, pictures. Came across an envelope with a whole bunch that I had saved. So I used those up. I like the shininess of the different things there. These were just a few things that I made. Kim Newberg sent me these, and since then she's actually sent me a whole book of those. So thank you, Kim. And then I just decorated the tops. Make them look all pretty. Backed them with some leftover papers. Here is like a bookmark I made. Now I did a thing on these here, and I do like, don't know which way it goes, but anyways, little photo slide that I was doing, that I was playing with and making stuff. These in here are actual, like, they weren't negatives, they were from a learning film that I got at the Lions. So that's an actual like film in there. This is like a digital behind here. A couple of those. We got lots of, did a bunch of these fabric tags where basically I put lace over the whole thing and then just put a little decoration on them. So we did that. Now these, I don't know, I might have did these for my denim using junky jeans. I probably did these for that, I think. But then there's these tags too, which turned out really, really cute. And these, of course, slip out. But I loved how those turned out. We got some more tags. Now these were also for my junky jeans because I was showing how I used some of the things that I had made with the jeans. I did these at a retreat a couple years ago now, I think. But just bees. This is a Stampin' Up set, the bees. So we got that. Did those at a retreat too. I guess I'm down to the 2. And then just a bunch of odds and ends of tags. This was one from a monthly digital freebie that I did. Same with this here one here. Or a freebie from Coffee or somewhere. So they were kind of fun. I like how they turned out. And then just some odds and ends. And then here, we got these things here, which I made. And this was from a digital kit. Not sure if this kit is on Coffee, but it would be on Etsy. Or maybe it was a freebie. Not 100% sure. I will try and research some of these digitals that I've used and leave a link below for them. These I made at a retreat. Love how these turned out. Tea bag. Used some staples in there. Cheesecloth just to decorate it up. But a whole pile of those as well. These I know I did a video on. And this was from a butterfly book that I had. And the pictures were beautiful, but I wanted to do something. So I just did some swirly stitching on them. Just to give it a little something. Tried to match up the colors with some of the flowers or something. But they turned out really, really good. I liked how they turned out. A few more odds and ends of just stuff that leftovers, really leftovers that I have left. This was a huge tag. This was fun. But these slip out there, so they're hidden pockets. So there's like a huge tag in there. I need to do more of these. They are a little hard. I wish I would have used a little bit thicker cardstock in there to make them go in and out easier, but it's cool. So I'll play at getting that back in there. And then just an envelope I did and covered it with lace. Odds and ends, lots of odds and ends. Love these. These are an Edith Holden book. I sewed on, well, I glued fabric the top and bottom and just stitched around. And a little bit of crinkled seam binding on the top. Love, love, love these. These are some of my favorite things that I've done, is this here. We got these here. These are over the edge page things. So really they fold over a page. And then you could glue them down top and bottom, use it as a pocket or just as a page decoration. I did see this idea somewhere, but I can't remember where. If I seen it on Facebook or YouTube or something. Can't remember. Got those. Well, I'm sort of getting down there. These here, they are a pocket with a card. Now this was another way that I used up a bunch of 6x6 paper. These butterflies are from the dollar store. Love how these turned out. And can't remember who I got the idea from. If it comes back to me, I'll leave a link to their site below. She's well known, but I just can't think of it. But yeah, love how these turned out. And then what do we got here? We got some pockets and some more of those lace covered tabs. Some I have are cards. I haven't decorated them all. And then I did some where I just did different laces and then I stitched down where the edges of the lace were just to hold the lace down better. But these will probably be pockets. This was an index card just using scraps of little square scraps of fabric. Turned out kind of good. Oh, more of those. These I think I also did for my making, using junky jeans. I did different flaps. These will probably mostly be pockets. But just fun little ideas. Like how those turned out too. These are similar to the other ones. Again, using 6x6 paper and a journal card and then one of those tags. I made a whole bunch of these, but I'm getting down there, only got a few left. Just a few odds and ends of pockets that I've made. And then these here were also 6x6 paper, so pockets out of kind of matching paper. That's the one nice thing about using 6x6 paper pads is you get them kind of matching. Then we've got, these are mostly like stitch tags or stuff. Let's see, these are little pockets. I just used cardstock and then I just ran a piece of lace down where the color changed. And these are all pockets. These turned out good. 99% sure I did a video on those. So then we have like all my pin stitch cards, which I love doing, love doing. Love the lavender, it's probably my favorite. More of them there. Got quite a few of them, but love these. Love doing them. Love how they look. Now a bunch of these, one time from one of the retreats, Terry, thank you Terry, gave me a whole bunch of things that she had either colored. She colored these, but for whatever reason she didn't like them. This was like embossed, so I colored that. But then I put them on to 2 layers, plain cardstock, something that had a little bit of a shine to it, and then the design on top. And love how they turned out. Like that was one she colored, but she didn't like. But they turned out, love how they turned out. And there is quite a few of those. Those are all those. Oops, sorry for all the sirens happening. These here, trying to, one year at the retreat, I did a whole bunch of stamping and inking. Actually, yeah. Oh, that one goes there. But just love how they turned out. Even though some of my stamping didn't turn out great, love how these turned out. They are a little on the big side, but these would be great as a topper on a journal. Absolutely wonderful for that. But lots of these, and you know, I don't think I've even used any of these yet. And I don't know why, because I just love them. But toppers on a journal, oh yes. They would be great on the toppers of a journal. These would be good as pockets, tags, etc. But love these. Love doing them. Love how they turned out. And then I did a bunch of stitching at the last one, and I did these dragonflies. Oh, and there's some more flowers, so of course put those. Actually, these dragonflies I don't think I did at the retreat. I did those at home. Love how they turned out. These I did at the retreat. These are the beaded stitched butterflies, and I love these. They look so good. I really don't know if the camera does these justice, but I inked around the edges and did the hand stitching of the beads. Love them. Love these. And these, again, beautiful topper on a journal with a few flowers or something. They'd be perfect. Perfect. Now, just about done. It's going to be probably one of my longer videos. And these were sort of sorted. These are just like paper clips. So at one point I did have them organized, and these are just embellishments of all different types. So we got those. And then in here, I did a video on these, and these are made with envelopes, with lots of stamping, and I used my digital of photo booth photos. But love how these turned out. You can still use them as an envelope, put them into your signature. Love the way those turned out. Things like these smaller things, I probably will store in these. Let's try. These I made a number of years ago. And again, I love how these turned out. I did see the idea somewhere. But just a ticket. I actually punched those holes by hand. But just a ticket shape. And then I shrunk down some tags and some of my little T cards. And I did up a digital with the numbers. And just layered stuff up. Some are, I think they were all done in 4s. And then some I've used, because you can break these off. You can just do like that, and you can rip them apart and use them just as an embellishment. And this is the other reason why I want to go through and take note of what I have, because I actually forgot that I even had those. Let's see what else we got. We're just about done. Just about done. So close, so close. These are all the things I made using the little film strips. It's a Tim Holtz thing. And these were from the films that I found at the Lions. These were digital things. So there's kind of just a mixture in here. But I can use these on things, just glue them down to a page, all kinds of stuff. These, love these, die cut, and then these are die cut flowers, which I assembled with some eyelash trim back there. Perfect embellishment. And I think this is all those. I love the frilliness of the eyelash trim. What else do we got here? Let's keep going. I did a mass make of these, using stuff up, little pictures. I had a whole bunch of these flowers, so each one got that, got a little bit of lace, etc. I used like old envelopes and stuff for the back, and then now I just glue the paper, glue it down, and done with the embellishment. This looks like odds and ends of stuff I made and didn't make. This was just something I was trying. That was something I found. But a few embellishments that I made. Oh, you see, there's another one of those things. Hence why I need to go through. But just lots of little goodies. I don't think I made that. Oh, and more of those little things. Look at that. I thought they were all gone. Oh, and here, yes, yes, yes. Loved how these turned out. Just dig a few of these out because I want to show them. Other than that, it's just odds and ends of stuff. But this is, I have a die cut that cuts this tag out with the pictures. So this one is actually negatives, and you can't really tell. Like you can see, like this one, that there's a couple people there, but you can't really see. This is a digital, but just decorating them up. This I used the end from one of those piano rules. And these are the Tim Holtz Viewmaster things. This I've used actual negatives or from the film things that I got. And this one was using digitals. Love how they turned out. Got to do some more of those. I only did a few, I think. These I made a long time ago. Like these were one of the first mass make things I did. And I made hundreds of these. Hundreds of them. And I still have some left. I also did, these are like a plate, and these were tags. But yes, some of these things were made a long time ago. These are like all banner things, and they're meant to go over a page. They just flip over and go over a page. They're just all decorated. Some are just meant to glue down, so a whole bunch of those. My folded paper ribbons. Just did another video on these, but just all different things, all hand stitched out of scraps of paper, beads, lace, etc. Didn't realize I had quite so many of those. These are just boring little banners, folded fabric ribbons. These are a whole bunch of those tags that I made with the two-piece thing and the die cutting the little dies out of the center. Great for so many things. And lastly, I think this is the last. I made these a couple years ago too, using die cuts of jars and then just decorating them. And they're just finished embellishments. Just glue them down to a page and you're done. These here, I did a whole bunch of these. I don't have too many of these left, but this was a digital, can't remember who it was from. Just put some bling down there, old book pages, old scrapbook paper. And then these are just a little bit of a collage with one of my digital tickets on there. But just fun things. These are mostly jars in here that I did. A few of those butterflies at the bottom. But now I got to like sort these a little bit better and, you know, like put these with the other ones and just putting the like-minded things together to make it easier. And I recently bought a label maker. So I'm going to be labeling, like a lot of these have handwritten, but I'm going to redo them all and do labels with my label maker on all the containers. And then it'll be easy to spot when they're in a rolly cart. I do keep these still in a rolly cart, but I just go over and get them to what I want to do. But hopefully this did not go on too long. It's probably one of the longest videos I've done. Hope you enjoyed seeing all this stuff. Hope you will go and check out other videos to learn how to make some of this stuff. They would be under tutorials. And a lot of the stuff I mass made. So, you know, I made like 12, 20, 30, 40 of the same thing. I do like mass making stuff. I will say that. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out the other videos. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.